kid was genuinely the greatest gig in the world. You had no jobs, no bills, no responsibilities. Your only real crisis of the day was to make sure you took the chicken out of the freezer before your mom got home, which I somehow still consistently failed to do with that being my only task, but that's neither here nor there. Somehow I was still rushing to get to adulthood like I had something better waiting for me on the other side. It didn't. I got here and there are taxes, back paying for my job, and people expecting things from me at all times. This is not what was advertised. But as kids, we had it genuinely good and we didn't even realize it. And one thing that made childhood so great and so nostalgic was video games. But specifically for people like me, wrestling video games. It was nothing better than coming home from a long, exhausting day of school, grabbing some snacks and going straight to your room and turning on that PlayStation and loading up some wrestling video games. Wrestling games was the closest thing that we had to being an actual booker. You could give Mr. Kennedy the title run that WWE robbed him of in real life. You could take out every ounce of frustration you had when Edge cashed in on Cena at New Year's Revolution and handle it by yourself in exhibition mode. Or you could book the dream matches that WWE never gave us and play them out in exhibition mode. That's what these games meant to us. Now obviously nostalgia is a hell of a drug and you can't go back and relive those moments from your childhood. Trust me, I've tried. But what you can do is take a trip. A nostalgic trip looking back at wrestling games that I have fond memories of and that shaped my childhood. And that's exactly what me and you are going to be doing today. Yes, you. You already clicked this video, you're here now, so you're coming on this trip with me. Let's go. SmackDown vs. Raw 2004. I grew up a PlayStation kid, and the PS2 was the first game console that I had on, and the first game that I had on that console that started everything for me was SmackDown vs. Raw 2004. The first thing you see when you load this game up is a screen asking you to pick a side. Are you Team SmackDown or are you Team Raw? And I don't know about y'all, but I was always Team SmackDown all the way. Batista, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, Kurt Angle. SmackDown was always the A show to me and I would go to my grave on that hill. Whatever brand you picked, that's how your menu screen looked. It was a small detail, but it just made the game feel that much better. The soundtrack was also the first in WWE game history to have an actual licensed music, and I'm not gonna hold y'all, they cooked with this soundtrack in this game. I'll play a few of the songs real quick that I personally remember and liked from this game. Hopefully you two don't copyright me for doing this. Now I gotta be real with y'all, this game was freaky as hell. The season mode in particular, they should have called this shit freaky mode with the amount of unsolicited content that my 7-year-old self had to see. I don't remember everything from that season mode personally, but I do remember playing as Kane and Tori Wilson walks into the locker room talking about she wants to be my manager. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Why did the game then immediately cut to Tori Wilson getting undressed? My screen is slowly turning pink. And then the next thing you know, she's taking me to the showers. I have never closed the application so fast in my life. If my mom bent that corner at that exact moment, that game was gone. My console was probably gone too. Shit, I was probably gone. Outside of the rated R content though, this game was actually solid. Graphics were genuinely good for its time. The gameplay flowed smooth. Before the matches, you could have mini games like test of strength and stare downs that made everything feel more like a real match. It also had a fighting style system where you pick clean, dirty, or neutral before every match. If you play clean, then your meter fills up by playing clean, obviously. And if you play dirty, which involves removing the turnbuckles, eye rakes, or using weapons, all of that, the meter fills up the other way. If you fill the meter all the way up, then pretty much your finisher hits like a freight train. And come on, you know your boy chose dirty every time he hopped on that game. I also got this game from my dad in a DVD plastic bag with a Sharpie labeled on it. So that's how I knew this joint was definitely pre-owned, but of course, I didn't care. We used to have this big blue DVD bag with a bunch of bootleg movies and games and stuff in there. I'm pretty sure I know which bag I'm talking about. And this thing had everything in there, bro. I'm talking about, I had Tony Hawk, I had Ed, and Eddie, I had the Flintstones movie, I had Sitting Ducks, which is peak gaming, by the way. Man, this bag is low-key nostalgic for me. This was our Netflix right here, bro. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. This is the greatest SVR game ever made, and it's not even close. If you disagree with me, then you're wrong, and I genuinely don't even know what to tell you. Let me start with the soundtrack first, because that was the thing for me. This is top 5 gaming soundtracks in wrestling history. And it's not 4, 3, 2, it's the greatest soundtrack in wrestling game history. Growing up the way I did, rock and metal was something that a lot of people that I hung around did not listen to. If you were into that kind of music, then you got looked at crazy like you had 2 heads. That was what they called the weird emo kid music. And if you did listen to this kind of music, then it was most likely something that you kept to yourself and never told anyone. But SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 did not care about any of that. This game grabbed me by the collar and introduced me to a whole other genre of music. I'm talking Non-Point, Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Rise Against, Blackstone Cherry, Animal I Have Become and Bullet with a Name were my favorite songs in that game. I got a bullet with a name on it, bullet with a name. Come on, I know you like them vocals. Back then, I obviously couldn't let the guys know I was out here listening to that kind of music. But now, they get in my car, they already know what time it is. We bump a Saliva the whole ride to the destination. They don't get a vote. Now, the roster wasn't anything crazy. It had 67 superstars. No! Dude, stop. Make it stop. My dog Jeff Hardy didn't make the cutoff, unfortunately, for the rosters. There were legends in the game, but you had to purchase them, if I remember correctly, which sucked. You still had your current roster guys like Cena, Batista, Kurt Angle, and Edge. But can somebody please explain to me how The Undertaker ended up with an 89 overall? Are we talking about the same Undertaker here? The same dead man? The same Undertaker that went undefeated at WrestleMania at this point? And somehow, the Boogeyman at this point was only 4 overalls lower than The Undertaker. What are we doing, 2K? I mean, THQ. Sorry, that's that 2K PTSD right there, bro. I blame everything on 2K. And then we gotta talk about the Great Khali, bro, because nigga, the Great Khali in this game was genuinely unplayable. Like, he was banned from use whenever I got up at my cousin's house and we were playing this game. Nobody could use the Great Khali. This nigga was like the Golden State Warriors in NBA 2K17, bro. The developers gave this man his own weight class. The first and only ultra heavyweight in the history of the franchise. You could not lift this dude. You couldn't knock him down. You couldn't stagger him. You literally couldn't do a single thing to this man unless you played on easy mode. He was that ass a skyscraper with boots on, bro. And after building him like that, these same developers had the audacity, the nerve to create a challenge where you had to beat him with Mickey James. I couldn't beat this nigga with John Cena, and now you want me to beat him with Mickey James? Come on, man. I genuinely still don't know who was more insufferable to play against, the Great Khali in 07 or the Undertaker in 2K14 Beat the Streak mode, WWE 2K14. I need you to understand that I am not exaggerating when I say 2K14 Mohawk Undertaker is the most aggravating character to ever exist in any video game. He's not even that hard to beat in theory. He was just annoying. The whole point of Beat the Streak mode is simple. End the Undertaker's WrestleMania undefeated streak. That's it. That is the assignment. Simple. It was anything but simple. This man would reverse every move you tried to hit him with. I swear he had infinite reversals, bro. And it didn't matter how many times you would hit him with your finisher. If you could, he would kick out every single time. You literally had to hit this dude with at least 10 stored finishers, bro. And it would always take me so long to get my finisher. However, it seemed this dude had finishers on standby. I can't tell you the amount of times I got hit with choke slam after tombstone power driver. Bro, what are we doing? I remember hitting 3 attitude adjustments in a row on this dude, bro. And he still kicked out. I can't tell you how many times I'd had this dude bar on a whole lot of red, no Playboy Cardi, and he just kicks out at 2. Not even 2.9, at 2. Every time I tried to go for a pin, he triggered this ability called Possum, I believe that's what it was called, where if you walk right beside him and either try to pick him up or go for a pinfall, he'd pretty much just counter that right into a Hell's Gate submission hold or a roll-up pin attempt. And if you somehow got close to actually beating him, well, the torch is not over yet, buddy. Because he had this other ability called Blackout. And what this does is the arena goes dark, he teleports behind you, sets up for his finisher, and now you're stuck in an animation that you can't untrigger. So now your kickout meter is now the size of Gru's legs from Despicable Me, and you just sit there and watch your last hope that you had of beating him crumble away in real time. I went through 3 controllers playing this mode. 3 PlayStation 3 controllers that, mind you, I was not buying out of my pockets at the time. This man owes my family money. But the actual game itself, let's talk about that, because 2K14 is as close to perfect as a wrestling game has ever gotten. The 30 years of WrestleMania showcase was immaculate. It had 3 decades of history with Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels. The roster is one of the greatest to ever be assembled, and honestly, I might be crazy for saying this, but WWE 2K26 roster might be up there. This roster's low-key stacked this year. You also had custom music in this game, which I really miss, bro, because I am so tired of having my created superstars walk down to generic track number 10. I remember having my created superstars walk down to the ring with You Don't Even Know It by Rick Ross. That song is a banger. Go listen to it. But this is such a cool feature. I literally don't know why they removed it. You can never have nice things with 2K.
Get off their dicks. What? They trying their best, bro. Get off their dicks.
They also had creative story mode where you literally got to put your creative cap on and cook up some amazing storylines. I used to be in my bag on this mode, bro. The storylines I was cooking up at 12 years old in my room, bro, Vince McMahon should have been stealing from me. This game also had infinite finishers, so before a match you could set up how many finishers you wanted to start with. I remember spending an entire match RKOing my cousin and crying, laughing the entire time, bro. Trying to time a reversal on an RKO in this game was genuinely impossible. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. This one is my personal favorite wrestling game. Not the greatest ever made, but my personal favorite. And it's for one reason. The road to WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania gave you 6 different stories to play through, and they were all peak, bro. Triple H, CM Punk, Undertaker, John Cena, Chris Jericho, and a tag team story with Batista and Rey Mysterio. I enjoy all of them, but the Chris Jericho Road to WrestleMania is still my favorite from this game. So in the Road to WrestleMania, Chris Jericho earns a WWE Championship title shot against John Cena, and right when he's about to win the match, a mysterious masked man runs in and attacks him and costs him the match. From that point on, he's completely obsessed, and now you're interrogating guys in a locker room, trying to get answers, hunting this person down, trying to figure out who the masked man is. The masked man keeps showing up and lurking in the crowd and interfering in your matches, and it ultimately is down to 2 people, Randy Orton and Mr. Kennedy. And the coolest part about this is that the story can go down 2 different paths based on who you unmasked to be the masked man. If you go after Randy Orton, then you pretty much run through a gauntlet of masked men and face him at WrestleMania in a Falls Count Anywhere match. If you unmask Mr. Kennedy, then that's a whole other road that ends in a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania between Jericho, Orton, and John Cena, and Mr. Kennedy, of course. This was also the first game that introduced creative finisher, which I was genuinely surprised to find out because I assumed this was in older games. And this feature was low-key dangerous. You could chain up to like 4 different moves into one finisher. I used to be creating things that would have been banned in every athletic commission in the world. Moves that do not and should not exist. The fact that a wrestling game implemented this and let us do this in 2008 and it still hasn't come back in 2026 is criminal. They also added the Inferno match for the first time in the WWE game as well. Tag team mechanics were also way better here. You could do hot tags, double teams, illegal tags. It made tag team matches feel like actual tag team matches instead of 2 people just taking turns in the ring. Again, small details, but it made a shitload of a difference. And this was also the game where I created my custom created superstars, Sean and Big Ant. 2 brothers with a decade-long storied rivalry that carried through SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 all the way up till 2K26. Let me know if y'all want me to drop a documentary style video explaining the rivalry and the feud between these 2 dating back to 2009. I'm telling y'all, it's better than any story that's taking place in the WWE right now. I'm not gonna lie, people sleep on this game way too hard. I don't see SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 get enough love. Some other games I didn't talk about but deserve to be mentioned in this video: WWE 13. I remember getting this game for my birthday and playing the showcase mode. The showcase mode was probably one of the best showcase mode I played, and me and my friends genuinely had a great time on this game. This was honestly an underrated game. Not too many people talk about WWE 13 like that, bro. WWE 12, which arguably had the greatest Road to WrestleMania story mode of all time with Jacob Cass. I can't tell y'all how many times I have went back and played this exact story mode. This was the perfect way to end off the legacy of Road to WrestleMania, bro. This was also the first game to introduce Universe mode as well, and you know your boy was in there cooking up stories, bro. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, I never owned this game personally, but I played it enough at my cousin's house to know that this game was actually fire. A lot of people consider this to be the greatest SmackDown vs. Raw of all time, and I can't argue with that. WWE 2K23 was pretty solid as well. No Mercy, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown 2. While I never personally played those games, I hear a lot of great things about them on Reddit forums and from other YouTubers as well, so I gotta give them their flowers and put them in this video as well. And SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Oh my goodness, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 is a wound that has never fully healed. Now, a quick story on this game: my cousin actually gifted me this game for my birthday, and it had already been out for a year. I think at the time WWE 12 was the new game out, but I didn't care. I saw Cena on the cover and I said, give me that game immediately. So I get home, I step out the car, right? I had the game sitting on my lap, and mind you, it's raining outside, so where my mom parked at, there's a big puddle right where I'm getting out at. I step out the car and the game slips and falls straight into a puddle. And I might have slightly stepped on the game too as well, because I didn't realize it had fell until it fell. But it's still in the case, so I'm not worried. I figure it's fine. The game is still gonna load up. It's not wet. I dried it off a little bit when I got in the house. We're good. I go to put the game in the PS3 and nothing pops up. The SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 screen doesn't pop up for me to download the game. Nothing ever pops up. I take the disc out the PS3 again. I put it back in the PS3. Nothing happens. I put the game in some rice to soak all the water out. Put it back in the game. Nothing happens. I was devastated. You mean to tell me I can't even play the new WWE 12 that came out on time? And now I can't even play SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, which a lot of people consider to also be the greatest SmackDown vs. Raw game of all time? I was sick. I still get mad to this day thinking about that moment. If y'all want a part 2 of me going in depth on those games that I talk about and some memories that I have with those games, then let me know down in the comments. And also drop your favorite wrestling game memory in the comments below. I want to hear some of those as well. Also, thank you guys for 800 subscribers. I did not think I would be sitting here saying this, but the fact that we went from 63 subs last video up to 800, and I'm pretty sure it's like 64 subs right now, that is genuinely insane. Y'all ran that last video, the wrestling betrayals video, y'all ran that up. Y'all showed so much love and support in that video, so I thank y'all. I love all 863 of y'all, bro. Follow all the socials and the Vox quote of the day. Man, I love y'all niggas, man. Thank y'all for 800 subs, man. Voice out.
I cannot stop jacking my dick. I be jacking it. I cannot stop jacking my dick. I be jacking it. I cannot stop jacking my dick. I be jacking it. I cannot stop jacking my dick. I be jacking it.